G'day, that's Slot Car Guy here, and welcome back to another slot car review. And I am super excited that McLaren is running the Gulf for livery at this week's Monaco Grand Prix. I can't believe it's true. I watched the YouTube video this morning with Lando Norris in it, and that was filmed so beautifully. I was just standing there in awe going, this isn't real. Surely this is just a stunt. Nope, it's real. They're running the Gulf livery. And here's the car here. Look at that. Incredible. So I thought, what better time to review one of my favourite Gulf livery cars. Now, it's not McLaren, but it is a Gulf livery racing car. What is it? What brand is it? Well, stick around and let's unbox one of my favourite Gulf livery racing cars. So welcome back to another review, and we're going golf. We're not going golfing, we're going Gulf livery. And I can't play golf to save my life. What car have I chosen? Well, whose turn is it? It is SLOTIT's turn. Now, I absolutely love SLOTIT. And before I even review this car, I'm going to go out on the limb and say there's not many cars that you can take out of a box and put on a track and expect to perform as well as this. NSR, Revo, Sideways, SLOTIT, they're all very similar cars out of the box that are just race ready, complete weapon killers. And this one is no different, but it is a collector's edition. So will this do a lap around my track? Maybe, but let's review it before I trash it first. So SLOTIT's first review, here it is. Beautiful box. If you haven't bought a SLOTIT collectible car before, or a SLOTIT car in general, what are you doing? They're incredible. But this is the Le Mans winning series. It's 1969. What car is it? Let's have a quick look. And of course, let me move that card first. It is the Ford GT40 in Gulf livery. What an absolute weapon. As always, we're going to take a nice tour around what you get in the box, do a tear down of the car, see how it works. But I thought, what a better time to do a beautiful Gulf livery review, and here she is. So let's get stuck into the teardown, the review. Do I do a lap around the track? I'm not too sure. Let's see how excited I get. Let's get stuck into it. Alrighty, so let's take a quick tour around the box, do the teardown, have a look at the car. It's a beautiful SLOTIT orange box, nice little flappy design, I like that. On the left-hand side here, left and right-hand side, we've got the Le Mans 1969 writing with the number 6 car, which is Jackie X and Jackie Oliver are the drivers, and that's stated on both sides of the box. Really cool looking box, very sturdy, easy to stack, and if you want to view the car, you simply do this. And there she is. Now, before we get right into the car, let's talk about what you get in the box. And this is a limited edition run. There is 7,000 of these, and mine is 1293 of 7,000, which, you know what? I'm pretty happy with that number. That's quite a low number. And also the reference number for the car is CW09 for those playing at home. So you'll get this when it's a genuine collector's car. You'll get this with your limited number on it, which I think is very cool. Now, the other thing I like is how things are packed. I'm a stickler on how things are packed and how cars are screwed into their bases. Now, SLOTIT has done a really good thing here. This plastic molding which holds the car in place also has a little indentation for the windscreen wiper, which I'll quickly show you the car. No, I won't actually, because I'll ruin the review of the car. And that just holds the windscreen wiper in place because it is the very thin plastic. So very well thought of. Now let's remove the car and let's have a quick further look at the box. There's a nice photograph from the period of when this car raced and some detail about the car itself and potentially the race. I haven't actually read that. Well, I have, but I can't. I'm not going to try and read it to you guys. It'd take too long, but I love how they do that little bit of information. Now, I did say I'm a stickler on how these cars are held on the bases. To get your car off, you would flip the bottom section out, and underneath there's your screw type, and this is a T-bar style. And what I mean by that is the actual screw mechanism is this T-bar. It's a bit of plastic T, and all you have to do is you line it up and then turn it once and it locks in. I do prefer this over the screw type because sometimes the screw type, depending on whether the screw itself, you're there winding forever or they seize up. This is a really smart design. So there is the box if you are buying this as a collector or as a racer. Now let's talk about the car. Now I've already removed the chassis and the shell that's just sitting on there, and to do that is 2 screws, and these are quite high quality screws. I've never had an issue with these screws before. Very, very nice screws, but they also come with these little washers, so be careful. Both screws has a washer each, One still inside the car. This one came out when I released the screw. So make sure you don't lose those because they do space it from the chassis and shell. Now, quickly, let's just have a quick look at the shell itself. I know we've already done a quick tour, but holy moly, that is incredible. And there is your windscreen wiper that I was talking about. And let's bring the case over. And that holds that in place beautifully, because that will snap off if you grab that on to something, or even if you get your finger stuck or whatever, it will come off. But I like how they've thought about that. Flip it underneath, a little bit of room to play. It's a decent sized figure, so that's why the base itself is so thick, because the figure itself is a decent size. And his legs are actually molded. He is molded into the actual cockpit itself. So there you go. Again, no active lights, but if you want to try and run some lights in this, if you can get underneath that little nose cone up here, you can put your own lights in there. There's the exhaust work at the rear, and that's all finished off by this nice little plastic insert here, which has got the radiators, and that sort of holds in the rear exhaust system. And again, if you're smart and very clever, not like me, you can put rear tail lights. So beautiful shell and very light. And again, I don't have scales, but holy moly, is that a light car. So let's move that aside. Now let's talk about the chassis itself. Now, you're probably going to think, Trav, you said this is a race-ready car. Yes, this might look a little bit basic to some people. And you know what? It is a basic setup, but this absolutely works. These cars are an absolute monsters out of the box. Really decent negative and positive wire, and you're probably thinking, so what? A good gauge wire does help deliver better power, and it's only minor things like that's where you see quality in cars. It's not paper thin, cheap wire. This is decent negative and positive wire, so really, really good move there. Removable engine pod, and you'll find a trim with these cars, you know, NSRs, Revos, your race-ready cars, they do have, most of them have removable engine pods. Why, you ask? At the moment, we're running a sidewinder, which is rear-wheel driven to the left wheel, which then drives the axle for both wheels to spin, and then the fronts are free spinning. You can then remove this engine pod, run an inline and or a sidewinder if they do the pod that's available to do that. But you can then run different setups for your engines, and that does make a massive difference when racing when it comes to weight. Now, let's have a look. Is there any magnets? And I'm going to tell you now, there is no magnets, which... Am I happy with that? Yes, I think that's okay. There's a lot of non-mag races and there's a lot of mag races. You can definitely put magnets wherever you want in this car. You can put button magnets up the front. You can run one along the side. There's actual clip-ins here, and I'll get nice and close there. These little clip-ins here, you can actually get little bar magnets that will drop in there. So keep that in mind. You can run magnets in certain areas on this car, which again, SLOTIT has thought about everything, which balances the car out. The front axles have a nice little Allen key grub screw, which I'll try and get zoomed in on there, and that'll adjust your slack up and down on your axle, so you screw them in or out, and that's obviously to release them as well. And each wheel hub, do the fronts have it? No, maybe just the rears. The rear wheel hub, and apologies, it's very small stuff here. The rear wheel hubs also have the very same Allen key grub, so you can interchange the hubs themselves. Would you on this car? Definitely not. I mean, look at those rims. Now, another cool thing that SLOTIT's done, and they've decided to go for this model and this range with the Hornby SSD digital chip. This is digital chip ready, meaning it's a plug and play. You've got the hole here for the sensor. It will fit in, so you can retrofit. And for those who are wanting to know what this chip, which one works, it is the Hornby's SSD digital chip. Reference number C7005, 7005, if you want to make this a digital ready car, which I think is awesome. Now, I'm a Carrera guy. Obviously, I'm an every guy, but I love all my brands, but I run a Carrera track. For me to put a chip in this will be a little bit of work, and I wouldn't do it because I'll probably be cutting and shoving and doing some stuff that I don't want to do to this car. I didn't speak about the motor. Yes, it's a sidewinder running on its side. It looks like a Scalextric's hotted up motor. I'm not too sure what motor that is. I did try and quickly Google it. I don't know what the RPM is, but it's just standard size motor running in the sideways direction. Rear wheel drive, very, very nice car. Let's flip it up underneath. And again, 2 screws. One was in the center here, and one was just in front of the guide here, and that's how you remove the car. These other screws are to remove the engine mount. Very, very cool. Very thin, very light. Is it well weighted? I haven't ran this around the track yet, so you'd have to test run and weight it. Now, are these tyres good for racing? Of course, we've got aftermarket cars now, which I think is pretty cool. Aftermarket tyres. So look, there's definitely better than these out there, and I would not race with these. Now, I just noticed while I'm talking to you, this motor is running dual pinion axle or pinion locators, so you can actually run this as a left rear-wheel drive or a right rear-wheel drive, depending on how you want to set the motor up. So that's pretty cool. I like how that runs out. So there you go. There's the SLOTIT Ford GT40 Le Mans winner. Super excited that McLaren's gone with this livery on the weekend. Holy moly, I still can't believe that car will be running around the track. And Daniel Rick, mate, you're an Aussie, get that car to the finish line. Get in the points. I'm excited, mate. But here's my love of the livery and my version of what I think is a beautiful looking car in this livery. So guys, check out SLOTIT. Keep on racing. As always, at that slot car guy, please hit the comments. Am I doing well? Am I doing stuff that you would like to see different? Any recommendations? But again, thanks for your support. Also, Dave K runs Slot Car News. He's live streaming most Sundays, so please check out his webpage and check out his YouTube channel, and I'll put a link in right now, because he does do a really good chat on Sundays, but you've got to keep posted to see when he's doing them. The guy's a wealth of knowledge. And mate, thank you for the shout out this morning during your live chat. I really appreciate it. So take care, guys. Be safe. Keep racing. Ciao.